Do you ever feel like there's never enough time in the day for all the things you have to do as a nurse practitioner or a medical provider? In the US, the average nurse practitioner sees 24 patients a day. But depending on your specialty or your acuity, that could be more, that could be less. But irregardless, do you ever feel like there's just not enough time for you to do all the things you have to do? Or better yet, do you wish you could duplicate yourself, replicate yourself? It's like you get your notes done, your charts done, finish all your admin works, finishing all your patients, and then get home at a decent hour to eat and spend time with your family and relax? Hi, for those of you who are new, my name is Nicole. I am a rheumatology nurse practitioner, and I help nurse practitioners and other medical providers make medicine meaningful and connect with their patient in 60 seconds or less. And I could give you all the technology hacks. I could give you all the smart phrases you should use in your electronic health system. I could give you little tips and hacks and tricks like the best handbook or clinical guidebook to purchase, or I could tell you, little things like don't drink water during your work so you don't have to pee as much, but then you might get kidney stones and get dehydrated. But I want to give you principle. I want to give you a principle today because principles are timeless. Principles is something that you can take with you no matter where you go, no matter what specialty you work in, no matter if you leave your employer or you do a private practice, it doesn't matter where you go. And here is the truth. Everything is faster when you can connect with your patient in seconds. You use your time better. You move through your day faster. You leverage your time better. And today I want to tell you 3 secrets to why connecting with your patient in seconds can actually help you save time and get through your day faster. The first secret to why connecting with your patient in seconds actually helps you get done and through your day faster is because you transform your patient into a version of themselves that is more open, more trusting, and more receptive with you. As a medical provider in today's modern era of medicine, you must be a master in connecting with your patient in as little bit of time possible. And you may think there's literally no time, and I get it. I was absolutely there. In fact, I sometimes still do feel that way. Maybe you have dozens of patients to see. You have short 15, 20-minute time slots, and you just gotta go, 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 get going. And I get it. I also wanna be efficient with my time. But I also know is that you have a huge noble heart, like Gandhi or Mother Teresa. I mean, that's why you went into medicine. It's because you want to help people. And the truth is, when you give your patient so much education in the short 15, 20-minute time slot, their brain gets overwhelmed. They get analysis paralysis or their brain shuts down and they don't absorb as much information. In fact, studies demonstrate that the average patient forgets 80% of what they're told in a single patient visit. Did you know that? But when you take the seconds to build that warmth with your patient, you actually transform your patient into a better version of themselves for that visit. They're more receptive and more trusting with you and more likely to receive that information from you and listen to your recommendations. And when you're a medical provider that is a master at connecting with your patient, you can have a more positive impact on your patient and do this in seconds. In fact, did you know that studies demonstrate it takes an average of only 7 seconds to make a first impression? Our brains, in the first few seconds of meeting someone, our brain's making 1 million computations and calculations already with how we see someone. So that means within, when you knock on that exam door, walk in, say hello, smile, sit down, open up your computer or your EHR and start opening your mouth, start asking the first question, they've already made the decision whether to trust you or not. Your patient has subconsciously made the decision to trust you or not. And you may not like hearing this, because I know when I read about this, I did not like hearing about this. But this is human nature. And when you work against human nature, it works against you. But when you work with human nature, it works with you. And when you are a master in connecting and communicating with your patient, everything is faster. People listen to you faster, people trust you faster, and people value you faster. Which, if you want to learn more about how to meaningfully connect with your patient, then I urge you and I invite you to join the next round of the Connect with Your Patient in 60 Seconds or Less Masterclass with me. I'll leave the link down below in the description box. All right, on to the next secret about why connecting with your patient in seconds can actually help you get through your day faster as a nurse practitioner. Your brain is sharper. Say what? Okay, just hear me out here. We all remember the anatomy of the brain from our background, our medical training, and we all know that the prefrontal cortex right here is the executive area, and it's in charge of making a lot of decisions. This prefrontal cortex is like the CEO of our brain. A lot of high order decisions, and they're really important for developing action plans to achieve your goals and for problem solving as well. And it could be problem solving like, am I going to have a sandwich or soup for lunch? Which, if you ask me, I'm gonna have both because I get pretty hungry at lunch. The prefrontal cortex also makes really high order decisions like, if I need to talk to my colleague about a problem, a situational problem, how do I communicate that in a diplomatic way? In our line of work, our brains need to be the sharpest it can be so that it can make decisions and cut through them like a knife to butter. But guess what? Chronic stress leads to thinning of the gray area in our prefrontal cortex. And that means is that there is weakening in the area of our brain that affects our ability to pay attention, to make decisions, or even to learn new things. This means that when we're stressed out, we're actually dumber. We're making dumber decisions when we allow ourselves to be stressed out. And I know when I'm stressed out, I make absolutely horrible decisions. Absolutely. I might come home from work so stressed out, I end up yelling at the first person I see, which might be my husband, my family, and I take my anger out on that person when they didn't do anything wrong in the first place. And then I feel absolutely embarrassed like an idiot right after. Hello, stress, dumb decisions. But when you take the time to meaningfully connect with your patients in those micro moments of social connections actually enliven you. They actually help you. Your brain is wired, as humans, our brain is wired for social connections. Humans thrive on social connections. It is just a natural part of human nature. And so engaging in meaningful conversations with patients actually stimulates cognitive stimulation and intellectual engagement. So it challenges the brain and it promotes formation of new neural connections. Did you know that? Connecting with your patient actually helps you make better medical decisions and helps you do things faster. Now, the next reason why connecting with your patient actually helps you get things done faster as a nurse practitioner is because motivation is the fuel your brain feeds on. Do you remember when you were maybe it was years ago, it was a long time ago for me. Do you remember when you were in nursing school and you were so full of anticipation, excitement at the idea of your future career, going into nursing, helping people get better, feel better, making the world a better place? And when you bought your first textbook for school, you cracked open the binding, or maybe it was used because, textbooks are really expensive. And you opened that book and you were just get your highlighters, your post-it notes, your pens. You were ready to sit down, take notes, study, and absorb all the information. And you were just so excited. Or do you remember when a concept actually began to make sense? For example, when your professor in school asked you, what is the first line medication in hypertension? And you were about to say a calcium channel blocker, but instead you did a little critical thinking and you instead raised your hand and said, what are the patient's comorbidities? And the professor comes over and big smile, gives you a high five, and great answer. That's exactly what we were looking for. And at that moment, everything is starting to click. Everything's starting to make sense. All of a sudden, all those hours and endless nights of studying and just absorbing all this information, it's starting to actually click and make sense to you. And you're filled with adrenaline. You feel like you're Leonardo DiCaprio on top of Titanic. I'm the king of the world. I can do this. And that moment fills you with so much energy that you couldn't even sit still. That is motivation. And that motivation gives you energy. It fuels your brain. It fills the very soul of you. Motivation is the fuel that your brain feeds on. Motivation makes you want to work. It makes you desire to work, to want to do something. There are days when we go to work and we were I really wish I could stay in bed. I really wish I could. Motivation is the human nature psychological factor that will make you want to jump out of bed and go to work. And for all my science geeks out there, because let's face it, we're all science geeks. That's why we went into medicine, because we love science. And when a rewarding event happens, there's a flood of dopamine rushing through our brain, through our prefrontal cortex. And that's why we feel excited, is because that neurotransmitter helps us want to reinforce and repeat that experience to get that exciting feeling again. It's just like when you watch those feel-good movies. There's that that one movie that you watch over and over and over, and you know exactly the lines the actors say, you know how it ends, you know what's the next scene, you know exactly what happens, but you can't help but just want to watch that over again because you know you're gonna get so much joy out of it. You're gonna get that wonderful feeling, that dopamine rush again. Meaningfully connecting with your patient and hearing your patient tell you, I'd rather see you than the doctor, or you're my favorite doctor, gives you that dopamine rush. That gives you that joyful experience that you cannot wait to repeat and reinforce, and that will make you excited about the life that you live and the career path that you're pursuing. It makes you feel excited to go to work. It gives you that little kick in your step. And you're a nurse practitioner or you're a medical provider, you know how the human brain works. You know how the physiology works. So use it to your advantage. Leverage that. Fill your brain with the dopamine, with the excitement, so that you can feel excited going to work. Remember, when you work against human nature, it works against you. But when you work with human nature, it works with you. But you tell me, what do you think? Was this helpful? Did this help you think about your workday a little bit different? Let me know in the comments what kind of content you'd love to have. Otherwise, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.